다들은 아주 늘아 양절 아니 대신 신도 다 좋아하던 전에 아니 취당 주시해줘 봐 다들 진념도 해야 돼 야고 정성시.
So this evening we'll be having the practice of the Sukhavati practice. Along with some instructions in Dharma, some bit of a discourse meditation session.
근데 이제 전에 다 드랭아 주 늘에 주셔야 돼. 다 저당 거니 다 자다와 차진이라 대신신도 저거 요래도 이네. 드랭아 주 대신신도 너도지 마땅. 아니 단 예차가 그때라 닝담 추지도 있어야지 뒤에. 아니 가장 공주 다야 들어지시니야 공주로만 하시지가 야 쉬거지는 뒤에. 아니 근데 이제 전에 뒤 추대. 드랭만 너도지 들으시 시에나 사서.
So we'll do an abbreviated Sukhavati practice because I want to give some instructions on this text that I've composed, Heart Advice of Dharma Nectar. And so since I want to take some time for that, we'll cut the usual practice a bit short.
근데 이제 전에 담봉아 주 뒤치대 마지 셰로. 뒤 가나.
So maybe we'll be
담봉아 좀 들리지나. 담봉아 주 초아의 집도 초아의 코드는 이 취대 셰나.
Okay, so we'll begin with the practice, and then at some point we'll take.
Request teaching. Yeah,
And then
and take a break in the middle to have for the teaching?
Yeah.
No, first the Rinpoche says that we do request of teaching at the beginning. I have CD at the back, but he said it's okay.
Okay.
아니 들리지라. 아니 담보디 초아의 마트. 아니 도저히 추트는 도착도 아니 추거도 야지듯이. 근데 진도.
Okay, so maybe we can offer a mantra when the time comes.
So
we'll be doing the puja in a bit of a more abbreviated way today.
남중에 주시를 값서 같이 가게 개침버서 시작이 요리시나 다 공홍도 개침버리시 대 양양의 시작이 요리시 드랭인도 자네야 단디 내 친신도도 가르치던 내용이 요리 당가랑 집을 많이 받는 건 타는 양 심진 담지 랑따도 대왕도 바랑따도 동안면도 빠지바인도 자네 뒤 심진 때는 동안 대화를 디나 동안도 자나 찌마랑 봐 근데 지금 돈에 이 고는 더 삼바 잠부지시네 단도야 개침버리시.
So as usual, our preparatory stage of setting our motivation is very important. So not to take a lot of time with it, but to think that, why am I doing this practice? Not for myself alone, but for the sake of all living creatures who really, want happiness just as I do, and want to be free of suffering just as I do, and therefore for the sake of all who really have the same aspirations, that it's for this purpose. And then thinking, how wonderful it would be if they could have the happiness, and how wonderful if they could be free of suffering. And so fully putting one's mind into these immeasurable thoughts of love and compassion, and thinking that I'm doing this practice for the liberation of all living beings. Okay, so we'll have more Dharma discourse later on. We'll begin with the recitation now, the chanting. So, like, we're going to abbreviate a bit.
Any the Tada Oba Jundavura Amitabha Leneji play the Shole
Namo Amitabha Ye Gu.
Shole Guina.
Now in the big book, it's on page 9, for the prayer to the lineage gurus of the Sukhavati practice that begins with Namo Amitabha Ye at the bottom of page 9 in the bigger book. Then it would be following the lineage gurus of the Kagyu in the
it's number one past page number 21. So it's the second, kind of the second part. Fifth or so. Yeah. You see? So it says one, but it's not really one, so it's more like number one after page 21. Everybody good?
Namo Amitabha
Sola
Moving on to page 33 in the big book. Now this would be after the Om Hri Soha Benza Sato Om Benza Sato A Benza Sato Hum. And if you want to looking for it in the small book. So Emaho Mozart Sangye, wondrous Buddha Amitabha. It's quite a ways long in the puja. It's last recitation before the mantra.
Page 56. Emaho Mozart Sangye Nangwada.
No, I think
I think that is, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so page 56 on the small one.
Mahong Sar Sanje Nangwan Daye Dang Tuje Jimbo Tuje Tola So Sanje Jaje Pame Tanje La Seje Gibe Senje Solwande Dala Jogu Mure Sanje So Nangwa Daye
他得了养呢，打我一个句，你考了我句，你我一个句的，这些个。
Breaking here, move on to the main subject I want to talk about.
但你句的，当然我是去三八节查的有的，去三八的你这把崩啊，但你得一个的挺轻啊查的，你去先轻啊，你咋呢？他当然既然去南句。去我了的去没得拼的，等这些许多过一码的，没得不要的那么起码嘛的，没得不要的去不起码的，去三把人的在呢，你得到司机得来加油呢，你这样子，你啊，那是去学个点的去下去呢。
So this is a new teaching, and I am the composer of it, the author of it, and since this is the first time and I'm explaining it. Not out of respect for me particularly, but as respect for the teachings, we'll offer a mandala in request.
CD, you have a CD? Yeah. 多爱的几点，全部都爱着开始提前，麻烦。
It's coming.
Begin.
Here it comes.
So, reciting in English one time. Anointing the foundation of the earth with perfumed water strewn with flowers, adorned by Mount Meru, the four continents, and sun and moon. Visualizing this as the pure realm of the Buddhas, this offering is made. May all beings realize this perfectly pure light realm. Idam Guru Ratnam Mandalakam Niryatayami. The wishes of all sentient beings and their various intellectual capacities are satisfied and fulfilled according to the lesser, greater, common, and extraordinary paths. Therefore, I beseech you, turn the Dharma wheel accordingly.
Sanje tam je je ngo re dan je ko jam je chap da ka din song ba mi be ban gon din je la ma tam be je je de de ma mi ba lang go we ra de de ge be san za je je sun je o ji sin je la ba ran je de so je jin bo de ni me de je ne mo lam jin bo ngap ja da pe ka dan ban sin de su me do tin ba tu je jin lang ge san za a wo men ju jin je bo ran ne de so sa je kun je ngo ni la sim ji bo sum do ze sa wa lam me shab la so wa an de yong de san je gong da nyam na yang ka de san je gong ye la ben gong sa wa lam me shab la so an de Dolo dambe jula jwa enze ganda sobje dongen je dina de je lomar je ba gang so da dender dembe je jen jambe je simra ne ba tam jender je je namar ya dam ba la ye ke da la dan ne jin ge tum da da me ke nam da dwa kun je da ke je tam ba tam je ke de da ke ju din do ho ya ta tren nga chu nga ke tija jo ke nga ra ge ke de chi ta sam lo chi tang ne ta ko re chi la lo re la nga ke nga rang gi chi tha ni sa le de le lo ma se ne yan tra ani nga rang gi chu ro ko pho mo tin ri ko la lab ja re lo re lab ja re ta ki yo ani sam sa la lab ja de chi ge si ni nga ge yin de si de yo sam sa na ani chi lok si ne ani de si ne ta ki yo ani da lu de lab ja de nga rang ge ning tam se ya chi nga rang ge ning ne ka de ji tin yo na ya de
So this is a teaching that I've written. Every year, in fact, I give advice to my students, those who happen to be in the vicinity, as well as to all of my Dharma brothers and sisters. And sometimes I'll do it in prose, sometimes in verse. This year I've done it in verse with this heartfelt advice of Dharma nectar. So I'm saying things that I'm feeling personally, things that I feel I want to say. It's my own personal communication.
So I
think for us to be able to come together in this way for Dharma talk and to listen and to have the opportunity to explain, I think we're very fortunate. It means that we've created a tremendous amount of positive energy or merit.
딱 가서 참아 소디 용서 좀 참아 대완돼 봐. 동하면 돼 봐. 대화더니 라양 아니 내가 그 르그 처를 대화 좀 많이 봐. 아니 생그 돈이 대화, 띵지 대화, 라는 미베 대화. 다 난주는 해야 다 든든지 그 남는 아주 다 다요라. 디 남짠네. 다디 대화도 간듯이 토고도. 간듯이는 토고도 다. 딜라는 미베 대화 띵지 대화 때 빼샤 토고면도 와 강배 토고면도 와 너도 롬주고 토고면도 와 독보다 좀미 토고면도 와 근데 인도자니 디 대화 때람 든데치 그 람라 띠네 슈 든데치 그 람라 띠네 대화 때 토고요리 어떤 인도자니 사람 침보리 있어야 내좀 진던데 인시
And the reason I say that is that all living beings throughout the world, throughout space, want happiness. They want a lasting happiness, not just of physical happiness, but an eternal happiness of mind. And yet, the method for them doing that is what we're looking at here. We have the good fortune to be actually looking at that and considering, well, how could that kind of happiness actually be attained? Through what sorts of methods? And the methods being explained. And so that's why I think that we're so fortunate. We must have created some tremendous good karma or merit for this to happen.
산지 좀 된데게 취세야 돼. 아주 남부 취 산지 좀 된데게 취세야 돼. 지금 좀 초반초 지금 된반은 지금 멋지대라 레완의 인의 제네 멋지대라 레완의 인바지를 잡네 양문의 레와의 sla지를 잡 양문의 레와의 라마지를 지 양문의 레와의 족보 조모지를 제네 지금 혼나 프레스 된대지 그 람지래야 돼 충어마도 말아 산지 좀 되네
So, we, spend our lives in Buddhist practice, going to prayer meetings and praying to deities, to gurus, always praying to another, other Dharma friends. But I don't think this is a really authentic way of practicing Dharma, to be expecting help from someone else, to put all our hopes in someone else.
So, 어때 전에 산지 좀 되게 될 간지 소리 되시나 투나 득바 취 문체신 로봇 동화 사기 메시지 니지 또바 인라 뽀민 바 추니 시와 띵베 도관 저르지 투나 득바 취 문체신 로봇 동화 사기 메시지 니지 또바 인라 뽀민 바 추니 시와 띵베 도관 저르지 근데 송도와
But Buddha said that Buddhas do not remove the suffering of beings like pulling a thorn out of their flesh, nor can they wash away their misdeeds like washing them with water, and neither can they just simply give the gift of their realizations to others, transferring it to them. The only thing, the way that they benefit beings is through revealing the true nature of things. So this is what Buddha himself said. And Buddha also said, I've shown you the path of liberation, but traveling it is up to you.
자베 숨을 만든 바 나랑 그 란소세는 들어가서 잠자리지 말이지 신갈로 주니니 다바다 다하시에 되지 디스 공발라 망가라와지 당에 든지 티요레니 디 람티 냠스 린다 밀린데 아니 소실라고 하래 실와
So similarly, I'll be showing you the path here. It's up to you whether you want to take it or not. And while I have, written this myself, it's not contradictory to those teachings of Buddha and my teachers that I've heard since the age of 12. So this is really the words, that I feel in my heart. This is what I have to say.
다 되게 맹들라 닝담 추지들지 시사와 육소시.
So the name of the teaching, Ningtam Chik Dutsi. So heartfelt advice of Dharma nectar.
다디 맹들라 추지들지 시듯이야 될 들지야 되라. 나츠 유라마가나니 숨도 아니 나츠 다다 뉴먼버드 셔다그드 아니 든데지게 두 이제게 아니 나란치 두 이제게 아니 심델리 디두 데라 아니 타말바가 미真的 든데진 통나 수나 핑기요 말이지 디 나츠 디 셔다그드 뉴먼그 데라 인보 간데지 거르시나 담배 추고 들전 된다고 진 통네 아니 대근 용고요리지 들지시야 맹다고리 좀지.
So this name, Dharma nectar, there's explained in the Uttara Tantra. Maras are of four types: the maras of the aggregates, the mara of the Lord of Death, the mara of delusion, Devaputra Mara, these four. And this word nectar in Tibetan Dutsi actually has the meaning of conquering Mara or destroying Mara. And so this kind of Maras, or obstacles to liberation and enlightenment, such as the delusions and Lord of Death and so on, they can't be cured by any conventional, ordinary medicine. It's only through a path of like this kind of internal development of Dharma that such Maras could be overcome.
Today in the Chane, Tangi, Mambo in the Sheja Magoshine, Dordun the Shetane, Dick Chutun de drink Monday, drink Zadawatitan, Dunta Jima Zadawa Nitila, the Chutun the Chaturing at the Revachins.
So I'll give a brief comment on the words, and hope to cover about half of it today and the next half next Monday.
Today in the Chane, Tati Dema Jimatel Sehoa, Dema Jimatel, Yajo Zone. Chuju the Dema Jimado. Yazo, Taron Yazo. Yazo. Dema Jimala. Last page. A B nani A telesegda. Last page nani A B ni to ati nani A la telesegda.
Okay, so for a start, we'll start at the end, and the very last page, page A, as it's labeled.
Ta pindi le chon yong go chi po mano lam tong ge shi ni che ka din kho mi za la ma la so wan de su yi shi jin ji zek si. Ta te ngen de she ja ma go se chirang ti yi ji de chirang ma ji lo ta.
So the words of this say, the sole source of all goodness, benefit, and bliss is a virtuous guide who shows the unmistaken path. I beg the root Guru's kindness can never be repaid. Watch over us with eyes of timeless wisdom.
Da de la nguru se ya de, zawa lama se ya de, ta nga chu nam sha jun de, ani chun che ba yin na yan da, chu zong ba yin na yan da. Ta sawa le ka kan de chi she ba yin na yang, ani nam sha jun de, ani sen ko ting na, ke chin bo chi. Din ya de ke chin bo chi. De ren kap su ba ba yin na, ngen de ma zom la hu na, ani zawa lama la chu ba de ju ne, ke chin bi go ne. Da de chi se yo de chi.
So whether we're teaching the spiritual path, practicing it, meditating on it, composing a text like this, it's always very important to, at the beginning, make requests to one's spiritual guide, to one's guru, and throughout the work. And so I am doing the same here.
Ta lama se ya de la yang. Lama, Zawa Lama, Juba Lama. And it Rana Yin, Chita, one Kurva Lama, Jusheba Lama, Long Number Lama, Ta Lama Lama Mandava Mambojuris. The name in the Chan Din and Rutunguras, Zawa Lama say in the Chane, Ta Zawa Lama say at the Kandachil and Winzen Gorisina, one Kur T ship, better ship, one Kur Juship. Any menga dune, menga seade, menga tone, any sin lang when a tony get our musu also na she magwari. Lama take it to you go toba the Loma and Pune, Tony get our musu Loma also na she magwari, it's our lama. The ditch mazona young menga dune cups. Mona mandava can send the sonang. Oh. Time when they check Chung Song, this and a chu the cups and all seen a mandava Chung Song samba. Tanayang, Matanaya, the ditches waina. It's our lama telemunzi for this. Zavala Masat.
A Gary Tony Sonan makes a keyword.
Same good Tony.
Tony guitar,
Tony
guitar is shiny. So we mentioned the guru here. And the root guru in particular. So there can be root gurus, lineage gurus, or direct and indirect gurus. Gurus who teach us, who give us empowerments, or tantric commentaries, or oral instructions. So here we're speaking about the root guru. So who is the root guru? Well, the root guru is one whom one receives empowerment and tantric commentaries and oral instructions from. And if you do have an insight into the ultimate nature of reality as is explained to you by that teacher, shunyata, or selflessness, then of course that is your root guru. But even barring that, if by receiving some explanations about the nature of oneself, nature of existence, along those lines, if one gets a special insight, a special experience, special feeling about it, then that is also indicative of a root guru.
The need to indi kapsu ngetawa lamate ta chiranzu shigiri. Jaji sanji tinjirin bochi ani ngaranga root gorosina tawa lamate de chade ni de la ngarange. Then chubar juyuri start doing toni.
And you know who my root guru is. Sanji Tenzin Rinpoche is pictured here on the altar. And so this is who I'm beseeching, who I'm asking for inspiration for this, to compose this and to give this teaching. So going back to the beginning. So now we'll move through these verses in their order, beginning with the first one. The following Dharma advice for heart disciples, I have written down what I feel from my heart. Keep it in your heart and practice it. My heart advice for Vajra Dharma brothers and sisters. And so what should I do? What should I practice? This is meant to reveal a path of practice. So that's what this will go on now. So this is to show how to develop our thinking and our meditation and so on. This precious human life, like a boat, is found but once and not repeatedly. Don't be slow to take the boat across the terror-filled ocean of samsara. That is my heart advice.
감성 걸 동할 때 잠소 침부치를 빼자. 다 팔은 로고나 간디신 로고. 저 팔은 로고나. 다 미주보데 탑시진 안 빼주단 로고라. 근데 인도 전에 다 된지 시유리시더라.
So there's an example here indicating a certain meaning. Our life like a boat, and samsara like an ocean filled with dangers. And so this human life is like a boat that we've entered. And so if we were to traverse the dangers of cyclic existence, of samsara, this is the vehicle that we need to use. We need to put our boat to use to get across this ocean of samsara.
Jase shiwa lake junjog nana ndro tang tin cham de lula tree lo yate kare simji namdon drupasi yin chen lusi jore se ya chi wa pe nan ndro tang tin cham de lula tree lo yate ndro tang tin cham de draw in the choyong, draw pan draw the choyonga. The look at Dilla, the Zubo the trot hour is wrong with it. Tanga to pay you time is a dark and draw down with things of the Lilla Loyat. That day, Gary told a page you tangorisina, that Simjing cheat the page you tangoris. Simjing cheat your apology, Simjing tit and Zubo the page you down. Romto Javin Junior and Neo Sene, Nebat in the land, Romto Javin Junior, Kadamba gave Sinike, Nebak Yopol Sondoa. Sanji Jomdin de Nebal Yopol narcissist in this Sona. That the end out in Achi Zupote, Sugar Soda, Yin Pink Soda, Yin Dunk Soda. The Nichila page you tangoris in the Shawalet in the Sondoa.
So, Master Shantideva, in one verse, spoke about this body being the vehicle which takes us here and there. And without literally translating it, but the meaning of it is what should we put, what kind of use? Should we put this boat of our human life, our human body to? Well, here the ideal is a service of others, serving other living beings.
Simji Yimichi, the ending was to support the page you tangoris. Bena, that Javin Junior, Neo, the Sanji Junior.
And we see this embodied in the origins of the Kadampa masters and in Gyawa Drom Tumpa Gyawa Jungne, Atisha's primary disciple, who would serve the sick as a nurse, and Buddha did this likewise, exemplifying this behavior of being of service to others.
Tanga Peju Daya de Lunga ism de Peju Daya de Chugosola, Kachimboris, Chugosola Pejuta, Yindungosola Pejuta.
And so, on the one hand, we want to be developing our own understanding and a realization of Dharma, and developing the Dharma, and on the other hand, along with that, is the service, being of service to others.
Tayang Kashi Zubo de Peju Dukalatine, Dukasine and Tayang Melitin Tops of the Makashik, Dukasik on Zambelin Tamala Pe. Kuhinja, and in Dharmadasita, the Dick Metisukoka, and it. Not you ying and all Rumbochi Tower, Zupulitin, any that Trola is that.
So now there are people that use their life, use their bodies for very destructive things. And this is very much a waste of the potential that we have with this human life.
Mayimba Chigari, Tali Lama, Tajangun Bachin the China, Machivari, not so Machivaraya. Tanin Chichu Nishu Tabjigrina, Samo Tonda, Wog Yuso Tamchi, Samate, Yindung Chidri, Yana, Pachir Jachaja. Lunga Yisum Tama the Chisu Nishu Tabjirina, Samo Tonda Tama the Chisawa Yindu Chusola.
So we can, look at the possibilities of what human beings do. Someone who, such as His Holiness the Dalai Lama, was a human being, just like ourselves, and yet puts every second, every moment of every day throughout the 24-hour period in benefit, even his very breathing being of benefit to beings. I think you could say this 100%. So, but he's a human being just like ourselves. But look what is possible, the way that this human life can be put to use.
Oh, the Andang Sumbatilla. Tinzang Niparakawa told him to me, Dupelela, Kolwana, set up on one jeep Chelape, Tin the Chuzimazi, Hindayins. Somebody.
So when we've attained this excellent basis, so difficult to find, if we throw it away in meaningless, harmful conduct, we are trading gold for worthless rocks. Don't waste this life. That is my heart advice.
Tanguneri, Nachi, Zubote, Yangsi Nika Marawa, Yangsi Kokam Dendichi, Yanja Milunsi Kale Kapora.
So this kind of life that we have is not found very easily over and over. It's actually difficult to come by.
Dendichi Tin Zamboching as a Laval youth salite, Ta, Peju Yabo, Tongdam Matonte, Ta Sosi Lavandoa.
So we have that very precious attainment of a human life in our hands right now. So it's up to us whether we use it or not.
Kasi Dendichi Tangachu Landor Sinayandachi Landor ne nor Dendichi Sene Zubo de Peju Dukya Dupata Magir Sol Tawaina, any see the Pongani Jibata.
So if we make mistakes about what we should do, what we should practice, and what we should stop doing or what we should abandon, then this body, our life will end up being used for negative, harmful things, and it will really be like we're trading away the gold of our life for something worthless.
Jirumbochi, Zonkabak, Lamung, Yangurnana. Then the Jisondoa. Direct in the Eugene Nolila. Nika Jikpa, Nika Jikla, Tarizamshi. Nika Jikla Nankolota, Dra. Dra Nipa Tarizamshi. Sundasan and Jikin Sawaku, Bumban Chawa in the Tojo, Peninsiku, the Nimbo Limbargo, Namjun H and Yamni Teta, say Tandu Chichang Teta, Jangsa laws in a. The check Namjunga Chunchonga to take Jorgo, the check the Pepi Mojito. In the Eugene knowledge law.
Now, this, you can't Gali Gali Shugi. So now the fourth verse is a part of one verse that I've often contemplated, which is from the Song of the Path, Stages of the Path to Enlightenment by Jetsong Khapa. So there he says that this life of leisures and endowments is more valuable than the wish-fulfilling gem. And it's just this time that we've attained it. So it's very difficult to find, very quickly destroyed. It passes just as quickly as lightning in the sky. So Chetsong Khapa says that thinking about this kind of reasoning, then it led me to discard mundane activities like chaff in the wind. And wanting to make my life essential throughout the entire day and night. So that's the practice that I myself have done. You seek liberation, do likewise. And this is not actually the source of that fourth verse. There's a different. It's related to the third verse there. Now moving on to the fourth verse.
Nyami se zang se bi shan ne jang samba zang na sadang lang yang za samba ngin na sadang lang ni song samba zang lam bu jing hin ta mi.
A son of the incomparable Shakya said, if intentions are good, the path and destination will be good. But if intentions are bad, the path and destination will be bad. call up good intentions. That is my heart advice.
다들 로직이 돈이 중다 다네 시야이래 뭐마 자니 다 산지 좀 되는데 샤이존 둘이 값으리 아니
The story to illustrate this from the time Buddha lived in India.
아니 뒤가서 자기 열롱지 잘보되게 아니 뚜모지에네 배치 뚜모다 된다 다지 보시 투조다 다지 보다 된다지 땅네 된다지 자리 로라지구나.
So this, the king in this area of India, one day held a huge feast.
뒤가서 배니 부중종이 고라니 뒤 살아 송살이.
So there was two brothers that arrived where that was happening.
아니 부중종이게 버지되게 다 잘보대 밤줄 침보리 아니 콜 망보리 아니 놀롬주 침보리 근데 인도자네 코랑 그 타도 잘보대 다다랑 맞게 치네 시송나 코랑 깨치 다다랑 지 든듯이 지내 똑자잡 시송나 뒤가서 나랑 잘보지 차나 자 그다 빵고 든듯이 그 보지 그 든듯 싸네 보고 임바되게.
So these were just two very poor brothers, like beggars, and yet they had different reactions to what was happening. One of them thought, this king has such wealth and entourage and property. He felt very jealous. And he had the thought, what if I could just slit that king's throat and be king myself?
시는 아직 잘 보래 차나서나 그런데 레바치 제다. 들으소냐. 딱 보고 지되게 잘 보대 엄마양 그런 소남 친구지 싸잘 보차. 다양 은혜 든데 놀롬주 친구 달래 지 아버지 제는 그런 소남 아버지 지와 스마양 그런 소남 아버지 싸그리 그 든데 소남 아버 싸야 지와 엄마상 그런 게잘 보고 소남 싸 받으라 아니 그 이랑 제르지.
Whereas the other poor boy thought, this king, to become like this, must have created tremendous good karma, great merit in the past. So I want to create the same kind of good merit to be in such a position. So he rejoiced in what he saw as the king's good actions that had led him to that state.
아니 코란이 다 로모잔도 호요라 로모다 티티스지 라요나 아니 랑과 짐바지라 마송 아니 코란이 랑과라 지보세네 니데리지 다 랑과라 니데라 다 군이 랑과라.
So the night fell and those two poor boys found a place to lie kind of near the road.
아니 다기 삼방 님반 차니 잘보디 시는 삼지 되게 그 랑과라 니데레 값에 신당 콜로요 신당 콜로 지되니 뭐지 요네 신당 카쇼네 칼르네 카쇼네 부드 냐데서 골 잡네 레바 돈네 다가라는 시선이지 아니 부 찍되게 삼바 장모 차야니데 그 윤신 든데 지게 행동지 들라 니데서라 니데데 아니 잘보들 버요 말다 야기 잘보들 버요 말다 코랑 그 버지 잘라 요보 가사 갈 당겨요리 버따 장보 치마 장보 용대 야보 근데 진 가완도 짜쇼스 요보 가사 갈 당겨요리 아니 요보지 레디 버데 니데를 가서 버데 때는 야르 샨네 우운데 근데 마다와지 사라와 아니 버데 티스는 야보를 지제네 콜 마다와지 근데 진도스 야르 샨 근데 진도스 아니 람상 야보데 마셔서니 고랑 가라는 야보 차소리 버데 다들 중심대로 삼바 장나 사달라야자 삼바 니나 사달라야 니시야 돼.
And there was some well, the results, what happened was that the boy who had the evil thoughts, there was a chariot that came by and the wheel of it sliced his head off, and that was the end of him. Whereas the other boy who'd been taken up a position under a tree nearby and was sleeping there, it turns out that there had been this search that had been going on from the king, because the king was childless, didn't have a son, and sent ministers out to look for a child with good signs, with auspicious, with the right signs and qualities and knowledge that the king was looking for in a son. And when they came across this boy, there was actually sort of a glow, a rainbow light surrounding him, and they thought he had special signs. They took him back to the king, and the king was immediately taken with him, and in fact he did become the prince and inherit the kingdom. So this illustrates this very point. If intentions are good, the path and destination will be good. But if intentions are bad, the path and destination will be bad. Now the fifth verse. The mind is the king with power over all. The body is the slave, whether of virtue or vice, not emphasizing imitation virtue of body and speech. Always watch your mind. That is my heart advice. So now, people say I'm practicing Dharma, but what does that mean? Well, there are actually three avenues through which we can practice Dharma: with our body, with our speech, and with our mind. And among these three, then the main one is the mind, principal one. So even with small examples, if the mind doesn't first instigate something, we won't do it. Like the mind thinks, I want to go to India, then we may go to India. But so it's the same in the case of virtue or non-virtue. It's it's the mind that determines it. So now, a summary of non-virtues is the 10 of the 3 of body, killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct, the 4 of speech, lying, slandering, harsh speech, and idle speech, and then the 3 of mind, covetousness, malice, and distorted views. So Buddha even gave permission for the 7 non-virtues of the body and speech if the underlying motivation of the mind was virtuous. So in the case that the mind is virtuous, if there's some use of the body that would normally be considered non-virtuous, Buddha even gave permission for that in certain cases, but as for the mind turning to non-virtue, of malice, of coveting, of distorted understandings of reality and so on, these were prescribed. That was never permitted, for the mind to go to the non-virtuous side.
다 강다자 르당 아니래 장 조대 생구통 개와든 네바 치야요레시.
So this shows that that for the power of virtue and non-virtue, it is the mind that is the most powerful.
당가 봐다 두바데나. 로안드 군데시 님보지 오말 마르지 차바 집신데 촌이 남진 메베스 반나 남지 응은든 조로 닝다니.
All beings have Buddha nature. Just as milk is pervaded by butter, when the two accumulations are churned with effort, at some point Buddha nature will manifest. That is my heart advice.
당가람수 즉 산지 톡그리 있어야 지금 보아지요라. 나 산지 톡이. 난 든듯이 대금이. 난 고알은 든듯이 대금이. 나지 지기. 세야지 보아지요리. 보아든 아주 보아들라 보아들 용사들 가와리 용거. 보아 가리진 지거지나 아주 유라 산지 유유칼이다.
So we develop a certain courage, certain confidence, certain daring, that I will become a Buddha. I'm not going to remain like this in cyclic existence, in the conditioning of suffering of cyclic existence. I'm going to become a Buddha. I'm going to attain full enlightenment. Well, how can we have such courage, such audacity to think that? Because we have the Buddha nature right within us. It is our very nature. That's why we have that inclination.
근데 인도자네 가르르리시나 빼나 오마라 마르지 차바나지. 다 오마라 마르지 차바나지. 나랑주 시주를 대바르시 님보세나다 산지가 님보데 오마라 마르지 차바나지 요레시.
So it's like butter pervading milk, that our mind is pervaded by the Buddha nature, the essence of enlightenment.
이내양 오마라 마르 요리시 야야나 마다 오마니 카칼 차르고 말와. 다 오마다 많이 카칼 차고래.
But if the milk is just left alone and not churned, then there will be no separating the butter from the milk.
오마라 마르 요바 하고 와도 개침버리.
It's important to know that butter is there in the milk,
오마다 많이 카칼 차주 요바도 하고 와도 개침버리.
and to know that they can be separated.
다들 랑 가리더니 차고리시나 마르다 오마니테 말 오마 쭉네 아니 남지 오마가 나니 마르던 거요라. 디 난신 디 나니야 다 가란주 줄을 대바르치 분님보 요나 아니 사키 수남지 초다 사미 이시지 초니가 람라 띠네 아니 가주 대바르치 분님보스 난다 오마니 마리오와 나시 아니 가주 이주 대바르치 분님보다 아니 거는 저거 요리지.
And it's by that churning of the milk that the butter can then be obtained. So similarly, our mind is like the milk here, and by churning it, by developing it with the two accumulations, accumulation of merit and wisdom, contaminated merit and uncontaminated wisdom, by developing it with these in these two ways, that 소니,
초니 땐듯이 충초작이네.
any sanjay,
사키 수남고 초다 사미 이시지 초.
sanjay don't get.
땅에 사키 수남고 초세야 돼. 와. 주말에 시작이야.
So through this the enlightenment is attained. So now to explain a little bit about these two accumulations.
다 사키 수남고 초세야 돼. 나란 주지 류지고네 류당아 니가 토네. 아니 지 산차야 당 주반부야 당 다지 사키게. 와. 아니 다당가 주 오바가 란드나 유 삼바세. 아니 가주 당카샴 주바샴. 아니 자다 딱바르실 때는 이때야 사키 수남고 초리.
Zakche kyan zakche sona
사과도 지바.
sapa kare nyumo tam chebala.
사과대 말다. 사과도 제시나 사키 수남지 초다 사미 이시소. 미기에서는 되게다.
pen kunjok.
군족도 남이 자된데. 근데 이제잖니 다 남식 사미 이시가 초사고요나 사키 수남고 초게템 담보는도 Any Sami is remain in the sun. Sony day. Takanta just colony Sony the Sundun Juba. When a Sajigla Namduchin and Colin Pergo in a number of Shopani Yura. Shopani Mina and a number of Pertugumara. Tina Yi, Maranzo Saki Sunan could sort of some Mimi Ishiji. Saki Sunan could sort the Kunzup Demba, Sami Ishiji sort the Tundam Demba. Then the chick Dimba Nikaton any touch horse on. The chick is.
On the as far as the accumulation of merit, this is involving creating virtues with the body and the speech primarily, and then on the other side of wisdom, the accumulation of wisdom. This is understanding of the ultimate nature of things. So, in general, what we can think of is that we're dealing on the one side with the conventional, the relative nature of things, and developing our mind on that side. And on the other side, understanding the ultimate true nature of ourselves and other things. And so, the progression is that actually starting out with the conventional side, on the conventional level of accumulating positive energy, and then moving to the developing on the wisdom side of the understanding of ultimate truth. And then eventually, those two need to be completely unified, practiced in union for the attainment of full enlightenment. And so more about the conventional side of the practice, when using the body and the speech to create the accumulation of merit. This would be such as in the practice when we make offerings and say prayers and make prostrations before gurus and Buddhas, which is Buddha Amitabha and the Sukhavati practice.
Tati anang dimba de la sanji tang simchin shiba de recto marik ni chi chibari. Tachi tade ni samanji na sanji rang ni do hindami.
Now in the next verse, the difference between Buddhas and sentient beings is whether they have awakened awareness or not. If you don't cling to them as permanently different, you will find Buddha within. That is my heart advice.
Sanji siya de tambo ma ta thoma kundu zambo sina da sanji de ma pemde sanji ge tambo penna nga chu wan shi ge mek yo de zong thong de oh te kalpori te marpori te humbori te le ning ji ondo te le yapo mendo samba kan zimba to pa de pan chin yo ma le ha go so pa xin nga chu tambo penna mek pa ta de哦，这真正要不进都上吧，就现跟人家怕许个多啊，啊，我说啊，三节个当不每个月的入金通呢，融通啊，几块的每个融通个有的融通个搞不是，哦，这了人就弄上吧去的，这了人就没弄上吧去，这要不里上吧的，这要不马里上吧，他妈的辛苦那个我的出装着有的。多多的娘些的就啊，同话的娘的性不同的嘛，人把心了，人把心了。我这哦，他特别要不弄，俺了得讲到是，当不每个月的入金通，得了等你白心下，但是你白冲冲的这个人。
那真是把这给呢？Now, when we see things, that when samsaric beings see things, then we tend to project what is there. And we see something and we see the different colors that are there and we think, oh, that's beautiful. Or other colors and we think, oh, that's ugly. We make all kinds of projections upon what we're seeing, and once we see it, then we reflect on it, we develop more discursive thoughts. Well, for an enlightened mind, when Buddha sees, it's not the same in that there's not this kind of conceptual fabrication about what's being seen. There's no projection being put on it. It's more like what is seen is instantly released. There's whatever concepts, or they're destroyed on the spot. There's release, there's liberation in the very scene. We say that there's one basis, but two paths, two states of mind that perceive it. So what are these two paths? One is the presence of the awakened awareness, and the other is the lack of that awareness. So, from the beginnings of samsara, this conditioned suffering, cyclic existence, which works through 12 links of interdependence, 12 links of interdependent origination, this whole cycle is driven by the mind compulsively wanting, compulsively needing things, needing the objects of the senses, the forms, the sounds, tastes, touches. This impulse, this needing, this compulsive movement towards wanting those things.
So
going on with just brief discussion of these different points. Now the 8th verse. Samsara and nirvana are no more different than the two sides of a single hand. Abandon dualistic discrimination. Pure lands are nowhere else. That is my heart advice. Okay, now this verse is informed by the previous verse. We think about having that awakened awareness or not. And when we talk about the awakened awareness, we're talking about the very essence of our awareness. Okay, we call this true nature of our awareness nirvana. And on the other hand, when ignorance is operating, that's samsara. So, if that awakened awareness is there, if we see the illusory, the selfless, empty nature of things, then the nirvana is what we're aware of. On the other hand, if we're not aware of that, if we cling to the true existence of things, then the opposite is the case. So it's just different ways of looking at the same thing. So the hand is used as an example.
Ani tusum jawa kunji shikushur chupong jetu jetong yaningke yimpi sanchu simji mengande mabji nyamni sushin ndangisi.
The tracks left by all Buddhas, past, present, and future, quintessence of the 84,000 teachings, are the instructions on altruistic bodhicitta. Don't forget them, practice them. That is my heart advice.
And
this footnote about the 84,000 teachings, the pitakas or baskets of Buddha's teachings are such that 21,000 of them are antidotes to ignorance, 21,000 were taught as antidotes to attachment, 21,000 were taught as antidotes to hatred, 21,000 antidotes taught as taught as antidotes to all three in equal measure, mixtures of them.
다 취지 풍부 제트 제동 참아대 아니 알아주 다 노도시는 유몽 동아 유몽 독성그 니모 유몽 독성그 니모로 요리시.
So all the teachings of Buddha thus act as remedies for the poisonous afflictions of the mind, the 3 poisons or 5 poisons, poisonous delusions, the 3 of ignorance, attachment, aversion.
다 되게 추긴 아니 다 님보다데 말긴 아니 지 오마긴 아니 말인다고 찍다 추긴 아니 님보긴 아니 님보다데 가르시나 다 상처고 심시야데 나왜 인기be 상처고 센데
Tavi?
나래 인기게 상처고 센데.
So what is that very essence of the teachings? It's like the essence of the milk, the butter. What is that very essence of the teachings? It's bodhicitta. So just as butter is the essence of the milk, bodhicitta, that altruism of bodhicitta, the bodhicitta that cherishes others beyond oneself, this is the very essence of all of Buddha's teachings.
데네디 자네 다 상첩 심시야데라 제땅거 고니 단디네니 상첩 심시는 같은 통보지를 시게 요리 다양 통보지라 데이네 다 상첩 심 지스 랑관데 같이 지 나웨 인지바 지가 김제명아 되는 팀바당 아니 지 랑그 대와데 바당 아니 도할면데 바 좀신 던데질라티네 조지 바디 아테샤디 록당 아니 자세 침부 시와라 그 록소르 니 다 좀데명아 된당 던데지 다신 냠지고니 람니 요리시.
So this is a quite high path of the Dharma that's being mentioned here, bodhicitta. But we can take the steps, we can practice it. You may remember there are the 2 lineages of how it's developed, the 7-fold cause and effect meditation, and the meditation of equalizing and exchange of self with other that came through Atisha and through Shantideva.
다디 상첩 생 거데 나데 충충지들 Depsebojidoa fundament of teaching of Tibetan Buddhism. Then a tambo to Yaji, Tina the Jambo the Simji, Tina the Simji, Lam Nikotoni. Dotang the Tamang a teacher, Churang Jurate. Tina the Sibo shop, Yawish usually.
So in my little book, Fundamentals of Tibetan Buddhism, which David has translated, then there are these methods for developing bodhicitta are mentioned there. So you can look to that for instructions on those.
다 망부나네 ngala takbatang 기본도 두셈나 다시송 유랑 값으랑 그거 숨보 양네 딱지 지식 닝다미.
When among many, watch your speech. When staying alone, watch your mind. It is taught. In all actions, again and again, check your body, speech, and mind. That is my heart advice.
아데 nga랑 남주 nga랑 같은 지리요. nga 잡을라면 어떤 소리.
So this is what I always do. This is what my root guru told me to do.
배는 마음보다 근데 이제 가난이 남다 남나. 칭다마다 그냥 멋지 빠사지 근데 지금 폭통으로도 와.
Because when we're among many people, if we talk a lot, there's a good likelihood that something we say is going to offend someone, make them mad, right?
아니 남주인들이 데리 가서 sem난데서 검자네. 다 강다자 르가 이 순간에 담배 추그 남난데서는 남 체딩지라 야땅고요라.
And when alone, then spending a lot of time in meditation. But in any case, whether among others or alone, steering the mind along the path of the Dharma.
어떤 일이 있잖아요. 다들 망보쇼 마고와시 아니 되는지 다 드랭 아주 주든 참대 들려야야나 상송에.
So I was thinking that we'd stop here for as far as the discourse went tonight.
아니 지마그자 다왈란디 주고데 마치긴.
Then next Monday we'll continue with the rest of the text.
소진이 다들 지난주 나게 저 나랑 그 마추시 지난주 삼는 양내직대 괜찮다 그 텔레사스 추시야 여라 상직 취미시 가래나 그런 라미 취미시 가래나 그런 게저 그런 것이 지난주 찍신데 삼 시기 요나 신도가와다 아니나 때때는 시기 요르지.
So I wonder if anyone watching this is thinking, that's strange. You know, the Lama's written his own text and he's explaining his own text now. You know, if I find other teachings from the Buddha or from his gurus are much more extensive texts to explain, why? You know, what is this? I was wondering if anybody might think that is strange.
근데 나랑 게 닝담시는 오늘 닝기시는 시야를 자네 아니 마지 시야와 이나 좀바보아 코랑 아니 추 낭행 코랑 인도 자네 주반다데 지 주반다 세고라다 주반다데 지난절다 라게 요르시 빼나 자세 진보 시와라게 준주 짱요레 준주 짱살이 가서 준주 아니 남칸에 인도시네 사냥자 특등인 지간에 아니 들으시는 마송 송차도 남칸에 짐토 쓰는 시와라 펩송네 아니 유마리도 준주 그 시준게 티준지고라 자세 시와는 눈이 말아요 말이 대가지 디스 방법이 라마지 그 송차와 인도자네 라마지 그 송찰리디 송데 라마 디 눈이 마 토와이나 그런 그 쌈로 땅나 구바 가랭 공바 가랭 쌍핀의 코란 인도자네 대라 진짜 시에당 좋아라 만다와지 요리시 근데 인도자네 내 트렌디 추트는 거종 걸리 좀치 안다니시.
But the reason is that, you know, with instructions like this being given, then it's important that there be the energy of it being passed on. It's a little bit different to hear it explained by the actual author. And so, in effect, a lineage begins with that. A lineage of the energy and the text and the instructions which will be carried on from that time. You know, in the case of the great master Shantideva in India, when he taught the guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life, he first of all, you know, levitated into the sky as he was giving it, and as he finished giving it, he kind of kept on levitating, and that was the last that anyone saw of him. And so it was a bit disappointing, you know, for us, because we couldn't receive that lineage of the transmission. So the lineage of the transmission was lost in a certain way because of that. Because after he gave it, he simply, you know, disappeared.
다 망보쇼 마고와시. 다 드링 고니 줄은데 인지도 차지 마송로 지시지란지. 솔로지는 냠데인다.
Dandabardu yamena nishisachigra.
참아.
Sama.
디 유거도 도와. 비 주주도 유거도 와. 대 컨선 대시점 주주도 유 에 나는도. 에 비니 나는.
에 데니
드닝 골 야도
골. 골은 차상.
차상나. 마지 숨로 지시다.
Okay, so now let's recite it once in English, but starting with the verse at the end, that on page A there. So from the very last page, then we'll go from there back up to verse number 1. The sole source of all goodness, benefit, and bliss is a virtuous guide who shows the unmistaken path. I beg the root guru, whose kindness can never be repaid, watch over us with eyes of timeless wisdom. In the following Dharma advice for heart disciples, I've written down what I feel from my heart. Keep it in your heart and practice it. My heart advice for Dharma brothers and sisters. This precious human life, like a boat, is found but once and not repeatedly. Don't be slow to take the boat across the terror-filled ocean of samsara. That is my hard advice. When we've attained this excellent basis, so difficult to find, if we throw it away in meaningless, harmful conduct, we are trading gold for worthless rocks. Don't waste this life. That is my hard advice. A son of the incomparable Shakyas said, if intentions are good, the path and destination will be good. But if intentions are bad, the path and destination will be bad. Call up good intentions. That is my hard advice. Mind is the king with power over all. The body is the slave, whether of virtue or vice. Not emphasizing imitation virtue of body and speech. Always watch your mind. That is my hard advice. All beings have Buddha nature, just as milk is pervaded by butter. When the two accumulations are churned with effort, at some point Buddha nature will manifest. That is my hard advice. The difference between Buddhas and sentient beings is whether they have awakened awareness or not. If you don't cling to them as permanently different, you will find Buddha within. That is my hard advice. Samsara and nirvana are no more different than the two sides of a single hand. Abandon dualistic discrimination. Pure lands are nowhere else. That is my hard advice. The tracts left by all Buddhas, past, present, and future, quintessence of the 84,000 teachings, are the instructions on altruistic bodhicitta. Don't forget them, practice them. That is my hard advice. When among many, watch your speech. When staying alone, watch your mind. It is taught. In all actions, again and again, check your body, speech, and mind. That is my hard advice. Prepare with bodhicitta. Be undistracted in main practice, and dedicate at the end. Full attention to these 3 points is cherished by those on the path to liberation, it is taught. Don't forget this. Keep it in mind. That is my hard advice. No matter how much glory, wealth, fame, or knowledge we may have, pride never raises us higher. Always keep a humble position. That is my hard advice. Whether we are jumping for joy or crying in pain, during all highs and lows, whatever illusions of happiness or sadness arise, use them for your spiritual path. That is my hard advice. As one who fearlessly vowed to protect all those who merely hear his name, keep this deity, Buddha Amitabha, as your eternal refuge. That is my hard advice. Reciting life essence mantra of Buddha Amitabha, like a young child crying for our mother, melodious throughout 6 periods of day and night, we receive Amitabha's compassionate care more quickly. That is my hard advice. Not throwing away the long-held samaya between guru and disciple at difficult times, perceiving it as more valuable than life. Never forget. Keep this commitment in your heart. That is my hard advice. You are grateful to me for Dharma kindness. I am grateful to you for kind material support. Helping one another in this way is sacred Dharma work. That is my hard advice. In brief, disciples, wherever you live, always remember and never forget all the advice I have given you. Then we will meet again in joy. That is my hard advice. The Master's reign of flower of holy Dharma ripens the garden grove of disciples, manifesting a glorious summer of Dharma, always together inseparably. This is my hard advice. May the power of truth of the 3 precious jewels and the blessings of Buddha Amitabha and Amitayus protect you inseparably until attaining the essence of enlightenment. That is my heart prayer. The sole source of all goodness, benefit, and bliss is a virtuous guide who shows the unmistaken path. I beg the root Guru's kindness can never be repaid. Watch over us with eyes of timeless wisdom. Thus, with a sound mind, this clod of earth has said what he thought, because of being urged by disciples whom he regards as precious as gold. It is the heart advice of this homeless wanderer with the title of a Dharma teacher. Okay, when we do this again, we don't need to recite the A verse at that point. We can skip it at the end and go on to the verse number 21.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, there is that ring at you, Shibari, Chunimbari, Chunishibe. Any gave a tawa. Any Sanganam Young Age, Joa Simchi Tamba, Mujimi Tamba, Yonghua Tamba, Shego, the Tambasum Dinner, and she dot and day in the Chane. She number Tawachi, the Chago, Yuna, Tambasum, the Kitchen body. The name do Chane, Joa Simchi Tambeta, Kondo Kono, Junior, and Tatan Yamba Simchi Tam Chiki, the Nature Ningi in Samba, Kono, the Nature at the Joa Simchi Tambasi. Mujimi Tambasi at the Tatanga to Nature Shiri, Richard to Ningi. I think I teaching Obak and seeing Last of Batang and the security called Mujimi Tambasi. That Joa Simchi Tamba, and Mujimi Tamba, Nick Sindel gave us our tela. That Juchin Karatangosina, any Jung Hua Tambasi. Any Huasi at the kitchen bodies. I think I do that Obak and sing out in Yon's dung, and the train Chetanza Dawa Chaching at you, the Chinchin Dokota. That to change Zadawa was at the Kidura, the name of Jane. I know back and sing her tasty dung, and it is shooting what a mona machines.
As mentioned in verse number 11, I always explain that it's important for pure Dharma practice to have these three parts of preparation with bodhicitta and altruism being the motivation. Then in the main practice, here it was our main subject which I explained and you listened to be undistracted during that part with keeping the motivation. And then finally at the end, making a dedication so that the positive energy is not it's not lost and destroyed, but dedicated to full fruition. And so we'll do that now to dedicate the positive energy we've created through this talk on Dharma. And first we'll recite some, as this is our usual Amitabha Sukhavati practice. Let's recite Buddha Amitabha's name mantra some number of times, and then finish with our final dedication.
ja. Adege nga chutren chuatin dordu chi tan yo yin. Tada di show yipchi shiro. Page this is page 14.
So this is now abbreviated puja, like we said we're doing tonight.
Yeah.
Now we'll move to the dedication prayers on page 46 of the large book.
Sunam de tamche supa.
Sunam di tamshi sik. Through this merit having.
Oh, they didn't tamche ya. Zwan de yuna chiran chula dwa.
Oh, and by the way, maybe if anyone has a question at this point, we could perhaps take a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Could you ask how Rinpoche wants us to use his hard advice, later? I assume we'll get the little booklets when they're printed, but how would he like us to use that?
마음파 닝탐지 페이지간 테스트한 거예요.
다때 ngāka nying dāma rāñi chirāñ chōla ngāka nying lakpa la jāni rāchā nying dāma rāñi tēnē yu chāne namchū ngārāṅ ke ñamni shidu pē nā jārsē lāni sobdō mā tē ngā chūngchūng kāsa ñamni shidu nyamā rā tīngmā nirē sā chōr kayo mā lū chēne tēn tūng kato wā lū chēne mā chōr nē chā chī nī sā mā chōr chā tē nī chā mā 저 생구 토로 고민을 드리시게요. 답변은 되는데 제이나 더더디 닝담도 나니 치란절로 가래 고혼도로 와. 가래 고혼도 지난주 뒤나니 효로가 직접 남네. 아니 대 남주를 게 간진 쓰고 말해. 내가 어떻게 하냐면시야 깨지 버려. 고니 줄로 참아 냠니시 드나 야슈리 빼야 버려. 단 강다전 마쪼는 니마 딱봐 마쪼야 되 깨지 버려.
So this is, like I said, my heart advice. It's really like my heart itself. I've put my heart in your hands. And so in my own case, my practice, what would be my heart practice, like the 37 practices of the Bodhisattvas, I would read that text 2 or 3 times a day, slowly contemplating it, thinking about the meaning of it. And so that is something you could do with this text. You could go through it, daily. But if there's something, but please find something in it that really resonates with you, that you feel you have a need for that. You can choose something in there, and then to put effort into that and really think about that and work with it is important.
Pene jarse lalin sobdu ma de jena sanchu sumba ke nyamne de sane jarse lalin se yora jarse lalin se de sanchu sumba lalin de pe kale khabo ji tinan de pe chi nga chu lalin tu ya nge ka ta sama mambo ta inde ti sama ta zo de se ja wa la chi de wa chi tab deo sin lalin to tab deo sin de ji zu yin shi.
And so, of course, it's good if you can, practice the entirety of it. But to choose one part to focus on is most skillful. These teachings, like I mentioned, the 37 practices of the Bodhisattvas, is a very profound, complex, text to go through. So what I've done here is I've tried to make things a bit simpler, making something that's easy to practice.
Yeah. 당아주 뭐다 뭐나 만냠도 지긴시 그런 주시에 봐 내양 지란sol라 드랭된 레야데 지란주 투지 가든 게 마티리 코란 주수생다다 고증알아야 된지 주랑 자라 파마소는 허나 마솔라 랍잔다지 주랑 남주 주시에 대야 디고도 참아 넘dom세네 아니 가솔라 이 토르지 요나 야본도 쓰는 알았던데 랍리 달로마 가시지 대양 지란주 소남라 띠네 내 돼야데 나라는 소남 사야데 지란주 주니 알아 지란주까지는 뛰는 게 송아리. 나가나지 드랭 주시야 돼야 지란주까지는 뛰는 게 지란주가 냠니 틈이나 마디 봐 나랑 그 드랭 주시야 돼 개버자와 돼 지란주 소나나 뛰네. 지란주 뛰는 뛰는 거라 송아리. 근데 이들 자네 나랑도 참아 냠데. 다 소남사와 냠들이 소남 야보 사요래. 다디 소남사와 돼 란지그 치도 많이 봐. 아니 나가 타다 냠 심지 탐 치기 치다. 니마 드랭이 종대네 당연히 진디나니 시바 난시 마이나 소잠징에 메지 제디 슈냠네 야보신킨지 시긴 사바 담자든 르네니 마 모아다 몰란들 지호시.
So make this dedication prayer at the end for the positive energy, the merit that we've created through giving and receiving of this teaching. And when I say the merit of giving and receiving this teaching, I really feel that that it has been thanks to you that I have composed this. In one particular case, in the case of this composition, Suzanne had requested that before I left for India that I would summarize my teachings that I've given in one text, and so that was what spurred me on to do this, which I'm very happy that it happened. So, but it's thanks to her merit and the positive energy of that request that I was able to do, what I did to create something positive. And it's the same with you coming here tonight. I can't teach about this kind of thing unless you're interested in receiving it. So it's thanks to you, that I can create positive energy. And so we all, create this together. And so setting the intention that this be dedicated to the benefit of living beings and to the furthering of our own practice, the determination, we can make a kind of a promise to ourselves, I'm going to put this into action, into effect as best of my ability from now on.
So
Yes, trendy show the children to ye, you the children to double dabson string a day. Children to the scene, the Psegora. Do we then your book and your young as in the Chungji, Ninjoji. That do not need any targets.
So within 2 or 3 weeks, we will have this made into a nice little book. But in the meantime, you're welcome to take home the copies.
Mm-hmm.